Hi everybody. So I was writing again, surprise, surprise, and I'm just gonna go ahead and jump in. That way I don't procrastinate this introduction. So I started with time is never wasted. Mistakes are never made in vain. We are always given the things we need and shown the things we need to be shown to be able to move on to the next chapter and the next lesson. Life is so much like a never-ending school in a way, as we are always given opportunities to grow and excel and learn new things. There are certain things we must learn how to do without question, and being able to not only identify the lesson but to implement them is one major part of that. If you get stuck on the why do I need to learn this? Why is this happening? Saying egoic things like, why is this happening to me? Or I don't deserve this. We are only putting ourselves into the predicament of having to repeat the class. And then you'll really be asking yourself why. So life can be cyclic that way, you know. So say that you like come to a crossroad and you're like, should I go straight? Should I go left? Should I go right? You are going to be led in whatever decision you make, whatever it is in you. Say like you choose to go straight. Whatever it is inside of you that's like go straight, go straight. It's I would like to call it like your intuition, that kind of compass that we have that puts us where we need to be when we need to be there, whether it's in a positive way or like somewhere that we need to be that's going to help us grow and expand, or even in a negative way is the same, you know, it's the same token, because it's like obviously there's something there that we need to see or we need to experience, that way we can move on to the next thing. So let's see. Everything starts with you. If you do not accept yourself, you will not be able to accept others. This is where jealousy comes in. This is where envy comes in. This is where judgment comes in. Because obviously it's like, if you're judging others, then that means that you judge yourself. You know, if you're unable to be happy and satisfied with who you are, then you're not going to be able to be happy and satisfied with others. It's the same token for, if you don't love yourself, you won't be able to truly like love others in a way that's going to nourish you and nourish them as well. So yeah, so like that's where like failed relationships come in, toxic relationships, abusive relationships, you know what I mean? Like that's where all that is going to come into play. And it's like that too is a lesson, you know? It's like you'll always be led to be where you need to be, to learn whatever you need to learn, to be able to lift your leg, to take that next step in life. Everything starts with you. I told a friend once, the ability to see a problem in yourself is also the ability to fix it. So many good things we may pour from simply having awareness of ourselves, who we are, how we feel about ourselves, ways we already have something inside of us that hones us in on rights and wrongs. And I believe in that too, because we're already, you know, whenever something doesn't feel right to you. You know, you can go into a situation and you're just like, like this doesn't feel good, or you can go into a situation and you're just like, wow, like this feels amazing, you know? So it's just kind of being able to have that self-awareness of yourself and who you are and what you have to offer situations, what you have to offer others, what you have to offer the world, you know? We're all here kind of just trying to discover like who we are and what we have to offer the world, you know? And life is like one really big book of lessons for growth. And if we kind of like get stuck on one lesson, like we're gonna have to keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it until like we get it, so we can move on to the next lesson, the next chapter. And so, like I was saying earlier, it's like that's where life can become like cyclic in a way that's not really, I guess it all comes down to you deciding how important you feel like your time is. Because it's like if you just want to keep dabbling, you know, and yeah. if you want to just, if you just want to keep dabbling, you know, and not really taking the best of the situations and what you've learned from them, then you're gonna, yeah, you're gonna be like a revolving door, and you're just gonna keep repeating and repeating and repeating until something inside of you says, like, okay, I know if I keep walking in a circle, I am going to keep walking in a circle. So whenever this door comes to the exit, let me step left out and move on to the next thing, right? So let's see. I want to go into something else now, you guys, which is still pretty relevant. So I started writing out about our birthrights and how they can be, who you are is kind of already predestined. And I kind of did like a little synthesis on this, I guess you'll say. So I'll just go ahead and start. What is it that makes you you? What defines you and who you are? Is it the choices you make or the ones you choose not to make that makes you you? Are we leading our lives in a process of elimination? Like we see 5 items on a table, 4 of which we do not like, so if a choice must be made, we know which one to choose. Or are we leading our lives in a way of the things we do entertain and the things that we do embrace? Is it that there are 5 items on a table, 4 which are completely irrelevant because we have our eyes set on the one item that we choose regardless of the other options? I can see both of these things leading into and out of different ways we may choose to live interchangeably. Life is so much of a learning process. Sometimes we may lead with our left foot and sometimes our right. Yet at the bottom of this lifelike equation, which way is the right way? Which would lead me to my next question. What do you consider the right way to live life? We may fall upon contexts and genres of answers like morals, finances, dreams, goals, aspirations, inherited beliefs we choose to live out and honor, etc. And as we come back down to the grain, to the root, what is it that makes you you? If we eliminate all the shading and blending that makes us just like our parents before us, or just like our friends, or just like our peers, what would we be left with? And I guess not like what, but who, you know? As in, who are you? I could easily write an answer on the things that relate us, our humanity, our faults, our flaws, growing pains, choosing the wrong lever, having your heart broken, fighting with your parents, failing a test. I respect all of these things that create our humanity, the things that help us relate to each other. Yet for the sake of this thought train, I would like to keep digging into what is it that makes you you? Because in the answer of this is the same thing that makes me me. I once wrote, it's not the things you choose to do, but the things you choose not to do that separate me from you. In this, I am meaning that it is not the ways that we are similar, but the ways that we are dissimilar that truly defines us. The things about me that set me apart from you, the things about you that separate you from others, is our individuality. And as we are individuals, we all have something inside of us that is unique. Imagine if everyone in the world had a canvas, a shape that defined them, along with chosen colors that represented them and who they are, and a certain type of brush type to match them as well. And with this, if we all painted something that represented the seed of ourselves, the aura, our way of defining ourselves and who we are. In this, we would see so many different, yet so much of the same type of paintings. Throwing a curveball into the discussion, maybe it is together, the things that make us alike and also the things that separate us, adding another list of unique things that make us who we are. Maybe it is the way that we are not only divided within each other, but united within each other as well. In and of itself, this adds another combination as to the ways that we are and ways that we aren't. Another thing that makes us alike but also separates us. I'm sorry, you guys. I was like around the cat earlier, so my allergies are just driving me crazy. Another thing that makes us alike but also separates us. What you are and what you choose is question mark. What you are and what you choose question mark. That doesn't make sense. I obviously didn't proofread this. Is your life path about finding out who you are? Or is it who you are that defines and unravels your life path, i.e., the subjects chosen to study in school, the career we choose, and all that entails? Are we set inherently in a disposition of who we are from birth? Or are we choosing who we are each and every day? Or are each and every day showing us who we are from the choices and chances that we choose to take or not take? Some believe we are already a certain type of tree, if you will. We have our roots, those are not changeable, but it is in the ways that we choose to flourish that defines us. If you look at the branches on a tree, the way that the twigs stem away from the branch that sprouts leaves, they are all fighting for sunlight, and this is why they separate and grow the way that they do. So I guess what I was like trying to get at in that is, I guess you just have to we all have like so many different qualities to us, right? But I guess it's going to be which ones you really want to fight to grow to get the sunlight that they need to grow, you know? Um, okay, and then so I kind of like went on to a different thought with this, but it's all like relevant into the same. I heard someone say that hurt people hurt people. I started thinking of everyone I had ever known that had done what I would consider hurting me. Not only this thought strain, but the ways I had hurt others before also. As someone that could look a killer in the eyes and still see the light in their soul, and knowing this about myself, I started thinking even more. I believe we are who we are when we are born. It's not a mistake the things we like and do not like, nor the way we view others and view ourselves, and the curiosity and hunger we have from birth for life and all that it entails. For life and all that it entails. Even a toddler knows when we fall, we must get up again. From birth and as children, we do not know fear. Fear is something that is taught. The way our parents tell us, be careful, you're going to fall. Nor do we know how to judge others or hate them. Hatred and judgment is also something that is taught and learned. As children, we are highly susceptible to our surroundings and the influence of those closest to us. If our parents do not like broccoli and never buy broccoli, having never been able to try it, this may be something we learn by influence to dislike also. Maybe we could be out grocery shopping with a parent and point out these little trees in curiousness. We may be hushed or receive a reply like yuck. So then we associate broccoli with these things. In this example, in such a simple form, is an insight into how we may form opinions on things that may not be correct or correct to us. Maybe not only do you like said broccoli, but with an open mind you might even discover it is your favorite vegetable above all the others. Life can be cyclic if we forget who we are and live by only the things our parents taught us or want for us. It's hard sometimes to see and realize influence when we are in them. Influence. So yeah, it's not just like living up to like a standard for your parents, you know, but it's also like peer pressure, you guys. That is such a big thing. Like, I'm gonna do it because so and so to my right is doing it, and I don't really believe in that. You know, I don't really believe in doing something just because others want you to do that, or doing something just because that's like the trend thing to do, or that's like the hype thing to do. You know, it's if you just like go along with the crowd, then that's all you are. You know, that doesn't really give you space to express your individuality and to like donate pieces of yourself and show who you are and know who you are, and it doesn't really give you room to grow outside of a circle of relationships with friends. You know, it kind of just confines you into that one shape, that one line of thinking, that one idea, you know. So in a larger formation, we have men across the world waging wars for their fathers' fathers, or their rulers, complying on the principle that they were taught from a young age to obey, to do what they are told and you will be rewarded or remembered and praised. Parts of the world live in so many shapes and forms that are outdated. I think it's time we all break free from the different ways we are taught to live our lives in different types of chains. I think it is time we remember the hunger we had as children and the ways we know instinctually that we are hungry or that we are full. So a question I may ask in this moment, do you know who you are? Or does it seem to be only something you are remembering? Maybe something you have forgotten. When you look backwards, do you like the places you have been? Or does looking this way make you only fear to look forward? Do you merely live your life in acceptance of a path and opinions that have been paved for you? Do you ever ask yourself who you are and what you're supposed to be? And that's what I was like saying about our choices and the directions that we choose to go. And I like believe with everything in my being that we should always trust in ourselves and trust in our intuition. It's that little voice inside of you that talks to you, you know what I mean? Not the one that's like, oh, I'm not good enough, or that person's better than me, or that girl is prettier than me, or that guy is like better looking than me, or his muscles are bigger, or whatever kinds of things guys think about other guys, you know? It doesn't really do you any good. And I tell people a lot of times, it's like you have to decide if you want to live your life in a way of fear, or do you want to live your life in a way of faith, you know? So it's just kind of like, if you choose to live your life in fear, it's that fear that that you won't be good enough, or that somebody's always going to be better than you, or that you won't deserve love, or you don't deserve love, or things like that. And it's like the opposite to live your life in faith. And I think that's why, and no, I don't mean religious faith, but if you're religious, dope, go with that. But yeah, it's just having that faith in yourself. And like I was saying, that's why it's like having an awareness of yourself and who you are is so important, you guys, because it's like you have to know who you are and what you have to offer. And it's just like, if you don't love yourself, it all starts with you. And it's like you will never be able to truly love somebody else. And it's like if you do love somebody more than you love yourself, that will always leave you hungry, because it's like that person doesn't know what you need to feel nourished and to feel whole and to feel complete. And if you put somebody else on a pedestal above you, then you're pretty much like telling yourself that you don't matter, and your desires don't matter. What you need to be happy and fulfilled and content and just have like a happy, healthy desire for life, you know, and being able to be on your path and go where you need it to go, you know, it will just leave you hungry, because we all have something inside of us that separates us from everybody else. Like, we are individuals, and who you are is so important. And just being able to discover, you know, like little pieces of you, like a puzzle every day, it's beautiful, you know. Just it's always like these things that we decide upon and we do, you know, for ourselves. Sometimes it can be so spur of the moment, you know. It's like I had a friend, I know if you have me on like social media, you've already seen this dresser that I redid, but I had a friend that was, that had a dresser, and he was just going to throw it away. And I remember like seeing the dresser, and I'm just like, hey, like, what are you going to do with this dresser? Because it was literally just like sitting outside of his house. And he's just like, oh, like, I'm going to trash it. And I'm just like, no way. Like, let me have it, you know? And I mean, it was in bad condition, and it's like, if you saw it, you'll know that. But like, something in me was just like, and it sounds silly, but like, something in me was like, this dresser does not deserve to be trashed. Like, it is so much more than that. And all it needed was like a little, on it, let's be honest, it needed a lot of TLC. And it was actually given to me by my friend who passed away the 2nd of this month in January. So rest in peace, Juan. Yeah, he was definitely too young to go, you guys. It's really sad. That's why we should be thankful for each and every day that we have here, you know, because you never know when you won't. And I believe in knowing and accepting yourself and finding yourself and knowing what you have to offer the world and knowing what you have to offer others. That way we can leave the world a better place than how it was before we came, you know? But anyways, back to what I was saying. So yeah, I ended up getting this dresser, and I had it sitting in my garage for months and months and months and months. And I don't know why, but I always referred to this little dresser as my nest egg. And I was like telling somebody the other day about this concept of how we can like leave ourselves breadcrumbs, you know? in like little decisions that we make or things that we feel. Like I just felt like this dresser did not deserve to be trash, and I knew that I could do something with it. And so anyways, yeah, so yeah, I just kept referring to this guy, like this little guy sitting in my garage is like my nest egg. And so I had like a medical career, and the last job that I did in the medical career was I was like working in the lab in a hospital, and this was like the last job I took, and the money was amazing, and the learning, like everything, like while I was learning like what to do was amazing, and it was so much fun, just like learning, you know, something new, things about things that I already knew, and um, hematology, like microbiology, special chemistry, just all that. It's so fascinating, you guys. But that's beside the point. It's like I know that I love to learn. I love to learn anything new about anything. Like information to me is just like I love to learn, and I can be viewed as like so passionate about anything while I'm in that learning process, because my brain just like loves to take things and wrap myself around it and break it down and just form my own understanding of it, you know, and apply like those concepts to wherever and however, you know, they want to be applied in my brain. And so but anyways, yeah, so after I got like after I was like fully trained and I got out of the learning process of it, I was just like back to that same like backbeat, like I'm not happy. Like the money is good, but I'm not happy. So I took, I want to say a leap of faith, but I guess it was like a leap of faith. But how does that song go? You learn to fly, and if you don't, then you just free fall. And free fall is what I did, because I did not know how to fly at the time. And so I just kind of like went out on the faith that I knew I was not put here to work a job that made me miserable. And the same principle stands for us all. Like, I am not special, you guys. We were not put here to work a 9 to 5 and have a black and white life that does not fulfill us. If you have a passion, if you have a dream, or there's like that little something inside of you that says like, I've always wanted to do this, or I've always wanted to be this, you know, you should go for it. You know, with all the fire, all the gas that you have in your tank, you should go for it. And I will tell you now, if you follow your passion and you are true to yourself, life and you mixed in with that, you will always be taken care of, you know? So back to my story. So yeah, I did this little free fall from my job at the lab, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. You know, I am miserable. I'm not happy. And so that was the day that I decided to completely turn my back on my medical career. Everything that I had learned, all the money that I had spent in school, I was done with it all. And so yeah, like I had my life like formulated to like that type of salary, you know. The medical field pays really good, and that was kind of like what sucked me into it, you know. And so there was like my mistake, like choosing a career for the money, and because at the end of the day, I wasn't happy. You know, it didn't make my heart thrive. It didn't make me feel hungry. It, you know, I felt like I was starving, and so yeah, so I just did this free fall or whatever, and surprise, surprise, I went broke, because like I said, I had like my life formulated around like having X amount of money, and I would do it all over again if I had to be broke, you know. What is it like? I'm not coming for anybody, but what is it like? Muslims do that. What is it, Eid, or however you say it, and it's like you have to like fast or whatever, you can't eat, and it's so you can be able to like understand like the hungry people and like be thankful for what you have. But it's like, you guys, I have felt hunger, and whenever I was like coming out of that, I because nothing comes without sacrifice, you guys. It's life will test you, like how bad do you really want it, and you just have to persevere. But anyways, so yeah, like I felt hunger, and from me, whenever I was in that place, like I thought this thought, and I like thought of that, you know, how there's like religions that fast, and it's just like, coming from a place of somebody in that time that like felt hunger, I would never want you to deny food that is in your pantry so you can try to feel what it feels like to be someone of hunger. Because if you're really doing that, someone in hunger doesn't get to eat when the sun goes down. So you're not really doing it anyways, right? Um or if you're just like fasting period. It is really sad to do that, you guys. It's so sad. Like I want like that person in me that like felt hunger. I want you to go into your pantry and like eat everything that like your heart desires and like do not be hungry just for funsies, you know? It's like I would never want that, and that's just coming from somebody who has like actually like been in that position, not somebody that like did it just to see how it felt, you know? It's like I wouldn't want you to do that, you know? And I'm not ashamed. Hell yeah, I went broke. But yeah, so anyways, back to my little nest egg. So yeah, I went broke, and this is like what I was like telling somebody. Like we have ways of like leaving ourselves breadcrumbs, but it's like in reverse. You know, it's like we somehow project them into the future, and it's like we leave ourselves like a trail to follow. You know, and I went broke, but I knew I had this dresser, so I was like, all right, let's hey, so and so, do you have some sandpaper you're not using? And it was just like, you guys, it was a trickle effect from there. And I went and picked a color for it. I went and spent 45 minutes looking at knobs and pulleys for it, and I was just like, I couldn't find pulleys that went with the knobs that I wanted. So then I ended up like having to like do some filler and like making them all knobs because that's what my heart wanted for that dresser. And I put love into it, you guys, and I put care into it, some TLC, tender love and care, and it felt so good to do that, you guys, and it has been like a trickle effect like that for me ever since. And I'm not saying that like what I want to do is like repurpose and like refinish and refurbish, you know, furniture for a living, but that's one aspect of myself that I found. Like inside of you, you have so many different treasure chests, you know, um, of abundance, of ways that you can be abundant, you know, and that was just me being able to unlock another one for myself, you know, and it was just like sometimes you just have to strip yourself bare to see what's left and see what's there, you know what I mean? What it is that you are, who it is that you are, and what is inside of you, you know, without distractions from everything else, without distractions of the income from a job that makes you happy, where you're just like, yeah, I'm unhappy, but I can afford this type of car, or yeah, I'm unhappy, but I can afford like this type of purse, you know, it's not really about that. And I really don't want people to get to this point in their lives to where they're like X amount of years old, and they're like on their deathbed, and they're just like, well, I live my life miserably, but I have all these purses or all these suits or all these whatevers in my closet that I just love so much. It is not about the things, you guys. It is not about the money. But it's about being able to be true to you and finding who you are. And if being a scientist makes your heart thrive, go for it. I am not speaking down on anybody that is following their path, their heart's desires, what makes them thrive, what makes them hungry for more, what makes them want to get up in the morning. That is what I want everybody to be able to have. And life will always be a struggle in some shape or form. You will always have to persevere in some shape or form. And that's whenever I was talking about coming to this crossroads of if you want to live your life in faith or if you want to live your life in fear. Because if you live your life in fear and you tell yourself always that you're not good enough, or somebody's always going to be better than you, or all these people are like prettier than you, or just smarter than you, or whatever, you're not having faith and belief and respect and love and all of those good, amazing feeling things for yourself, you know? It all starts with you. And I said like once in my other videos, wow, my thought just disappeared. But yeah, it all starts with you. And it's about the things that like you're feeding yourself, and you just kind of have to decide what what type of things you want to be burping onto others, because if it's all about what you're feeding yourself and what you're digesting and what you're choosing to nourish you, you just kind of want to make sure that you're adding to the betterment of the world and those around you, and your family and the people that you care about. And not only like that, but it's like it's such a reward, you guys, the feeling that it feels to just give a general shit about yourself, to just truly love yourself, to be able to honor yourself and what you feel is right and what you know is wrong, and knowing who you are and what you're about and what you have to offer somebody, what you have to offer yourself, and what you have to offer the world, those around you, things that you instill in your kids that they're going to instill in their kids. It all starts with you. And it's like we can take the good, amazing things that our parents instilled in us, and pass them on to our kids. But it doesn't stop there, you guys. We have to be able to take the bad things about them too, and reshape them and shift them and make them better, so we can pass those things on too. That way we're not just living a life in the same type of cycles, and we're just like passing down like negative traits from generation to generation to generation. Like, look where our world is, you guys. We are always at war in some shape or form because we act like a social stature or a religion or just politics, all of that. All of those things were not meant to divide us. Religion was never meant to divide us. Politics, like, why does that have to divide us? Like, why can we not understand that we all share this world? We populate this world. It is going to be your kids after you and their kids after them, and we are forming literally a chain. And we have to decide what kind of chain, what type of color it's going to be, what type of world your kids are going to live in, what type of world their kids are going to live in. It starts with you, but it like the good things like start with you, but it's like the bad things can stop with you too. Like, you do not have to live out old karma and old cycles and negative, outdated things for your parents or for their parents or their parents' parents. We are allowed by the laws of nature to plant new seeds and to grow new things and embody better things and to be better humans and to raise the vibration, the peace, the zen, the joy, the brotherhood, the sisterhood. It is like we are all the same. Without my body, but even while in it, like, y'all know namaste. It means the light in me sees and honors the light in you, because it's my body is literally just that. It's my body, but it's just like, I don't know, like, whoever believes in heaven or that next higher place or like whatever, it's, we're all related. Like, we all came from the same place, and it's really beautiful to know that, I don't think that I'm better than anybody. I want to encourage everybody to follow their heart and to be who they are, no matter how quirky they feel like that is, or how nerdy, or how bossy, or how just whatever. Like, be you and do not apologize for it. And it's just like what I was saying, like, we were like, hatred is not something that we were born knowing. Hatred is taught and passed down. I don't care if it's, oh, I hate this person because they're a certain shade, or I don't like this person because they don't have money, or, it's like you have to realize that you were taught those things, that money makes you better than the person to your left or the person to your right, because it's like, no, it doesn't. I'm sorry, but you can be like the richest person in the world, but if you act crappy and you're not somebody that anybody wants to be around, like, and you present yourself with your money as like this facade of like who I am, like, yeah, I have it all, I'm 100% sure, no, you don't, you know? It's like if you think that that could be all that there is to you, you know, your ability to gain money, like, that's really sad, you know, to just like live that way, to where, because it's like you can't take it with you, you know, and it's really sad if um, you think that the money that you have makes you better than anybody else. That's a really low vibrational like way of thinking, a very egoic way of thinking, and it's not really those good type of seeds you want to water in your head and let like them flourish. But anyways, I believe in equality. It's like I am because you are, and it's like we are literally at the end of the day all here just trying to like figure out this puzzle of life and where we are in it and who we are and what we can contribute to our families and what we can contribute to society. And it's just it's beautiful. It's a never-ending journey. There is always space and the capacity inside of you to learn and grow bigger and to be smarter, and it's infinite. And I say that all the time, like, we are infinite. Can anybody tell me the limit to how much you can learn? Because I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist, you know? You could be anything. You could be one thing. You could be many things, you know? And you deserve to know who you are, and to love yourself and to respect yourself and to know what you have to offer and to know how much you mean and to not accept anything less than that. And to be able to not accept anything less than you are. And keep telling everybody about this love, man, this love that you have for yourself. If you just see it and just water it, it's just like, it's explosive and it feels really good. And it's like we all like love ourselves in like some way or shape or form, but it's no different than anything else. It's like there's always ways to do it more, you know. And it's like I use like this metaphor or whatever about how life could be like school, but it's like some people don't even graduate high school, you know, and they just they get to a lesson in there or like a certain point in their life and they're like, okay, I'm done, you know, like there's, you know, metaphorically, it's like, okay, I'm done, you know, there's nothing else that I can learn, like I'm amazing how I am. And it's just like if you truly believe that, like, more power to you. But it's like at the end of the day, I feel like you deserve to finish high school. And it's just like those people out there that they made it like made it through like our metaphorical K through 12. You know what I mean? Like that's amazing. But it's just like there's always more that you can add to yourself. You know, it's like go to college. You know, get your metaphorical, or I mean even your literal associate's degree, or a certification for something, or your metaphorical or literal like bachelor's or your master's or your doctorate or a double doctorate. Like there is no limit to what and who you are and all the things that you could be, all the things that are already inside of you that you can hone in on and nourish and, you know, just take care of, and just like watch and see how much and how high you can grow and the heights that you can reach. You know, it's amazing. And it's getting a little lengthy, so I just want to go ahead and wrap up and ask again, you know, do you know who you are? And if you think that you do, how do you feel about that? You know, does that thought of who you are make you feel warm? Does it make your heart thrive? Does it make you feel happy? Or are you somebody who lives your life in forms of regret, and somebody who's like done things and been through things that like they don't want to remember? You know, I want us all to know that like we are always worthy of better, and it's like we are all just doing the best that we can, like with the things that we know in each moment. And it's like there's always that capacity to learn more and be better than our best is the saying. And like it's infinite. So yeah, do you know who you are? But anyways, I love you guys, and I hope everybody has an amazing weekend, and just go make your heart thrive, you guys. Be hungry. Okay, bye.